And I wanted to show you some interesting stuff with the USDA Pomological Watercolor collection. So you've probably spent some time on this website, and it's pretty amazing. They have what they say is 3807 images of apples, and you can kind of scroll through them. But this is great if you know what you're looking for. Sometimes. But if you just want to know what's out there, it's kind of hard to tell. So I typed in New Jersey. I got 5 pages of stuff. But I am curious what's in New Jersey. So as far as I could tell, there's really no way to just kind of get a sense what the overall database looks like without querying it or stepping through it. And that's pretty slow because a lot of times you have to actually click on the detailed items as well to get all the information. So I eventually got tired of that, and I decided to write a little web crawler that would just go in and download all of the pages and build a little index of what was in there. So I sort of built this MasterList index file of all the images out there. And it's got about 3,855 entries, which is more than they say are apples. And sure enough, I have some things that aren't apples, but I think they were labeled as Malus domestica or some other reason, so I somehow picked them up. But I figure too many's not too bad. There's some interesting stuff in there. And while I was getting all the metadata about what the names of the apples were and where they came from, I also got just went ahead and downloaded all the images. So I got each entry has 3 images. There's thumbnails, which are nice and small. I got 3855 of those. There's what I call the screens, which is sort of a medium resolution image. There's 3855 of those, and I went ahead and got the full-size images as well. And I got 3854 of those. There's one missing, and sure enough, I went back and checked the original website, and they are missing a full-size image on one of the entries. Well, this is kind of fun because now I have everything in one place, and I can easily find things, from the master list and see what's out there. So I just look to see how many times Vermont appeared in the list, and I get about 34 times. I can actually quickly look at those. I'm going to look at the full-size images here, which is a little slow, but I like seeing the detail. Come on. There we go. So these would be all the images from that somehow mention Vermont. If you look up here, you can see that's a Belle de Boscoup from Lamville County, Vermont. There's a Cortland from Bennington County. That was a Macintosh. Here's an early Macintosh. And they're nice to scroll through all at once, and or you could just read the text and see what you've got. And these high resolution images are really pretty cool. They're really good quality. Unfortunately, they do take up a lot of space. But you can do all sorts of fun stuff once you have just sort of a master index sitting around. Whoops. So I can say grep Newtown in the master list. See where Newtown appears. It's pretty many. 71 lines. So some of these are Newtowns, some of them are yellow Newtowns, some are green Newtowns. Who knows, some may even be Newtons. Actually, here's a Westchester, which has a cross with a Newtown. So I'm going to open up the lower resolution version of these. Let's see how that goes. 71 results. You can see that's a little faster. And they're smaller photos. So here's everything that has to do with a Newtown. There's a green one from Ohio. There's a Newtown Pippin from Santa Cruz County. Just all sorts of interesting stuff. And you can look at kind of groups that you want to look at, which seems to be a lot faster than trying to navigate the website. So just to give you an idea here, let's see, let me close this. I'm going to look at the thumbnail here. I'll just pick a random. So that's what the thumbnail looks like. That's its size. And if I look at the same thing on the medium resolution screen size one, that's what that looks like, which is pretty nice. Pretty easy to work with that. Or if I want to look at the full-size version, there it is, and sure enough I can get pretty detailed. Very nice images. So anyway, I have this nice master list. I have all the images locally on my computer. Turns out everything's reasonably small except for those full-size images. They add up to about 30 gigabytes just by themselves, and everything else is pretty small in comparison, even having 3,800 of them. Now, most people don't like to look at text files like me and things like that. So I took the master list and put it into a spreadsheet as well. So let me show you what that looks like. Where's my open? Oh. So this is going to be the same thing as my text file, just kind of a little prettier and in a spreadsheet. Right now I've sorted by variety. So you can see, starting with Abernathy there, I'm going all the way down through Zusoff. And so I've got the variety, the ID of course, location, which is usually city and county, but not always, the state where there's one, the country, any notes that were with it, and then I put these hyperlinks in too. So you know, if I want to look at what's an AK, I can just go click catalog here, and in my browser it'll bring me up that main page on the USDA site, or I can click screen to get that medium resolution picture, or I could click full size to go ahead and download the full size one. And there it is. So with this spreadsheet, you don't need anything locally besides the spreadsheet. You just need a good internet connection to go and browse around. And of course, if you don't like it sorted by variety, you can definitely sort by anything you want. So I'm going to change it now, sort by state, and then by, let's do location, and then by variety. And so now I've got sorted by state. So here's all the Alabamas, the Arizonas, Arkansas, and of course all the way down. Lots of Virginias there to Wisconsin. One interesting thing is, you know, the metadata for all these images is not always there in the USDA site. So there's a lot of things with no names and no states, for instance. That's some really interesting stuff, though. So it's fun to go look at what the no-named ones are. I'll just pick one at random here. There's a nice looking apple. So again, nothing but just a big list of all the different images in the USDA database, but makes it a lot easier to see and search. If you're looking for any particular thing, like in California, where did most of the apples come from? Geez, a lot of them came from Watsonville, Santa Cruz, as you can see right here. There's another tab too, I called variety counts, just to put some summaries here. So here's the varieties and how many images are associated with each variety. So you can see there's 163 that they just didn't have a name. And then there's 62 Jonathans, 50 Ben Davises, and same with states. Virginia has the most with 748 images, followed by New York, and then some other on the location information. Arlington County, which is in Virginia, is where the bulk of these images came from, and then also by country over here. But if you scroll down here, you can see pretty quickly you get to the point where there's only one image of these varieties. So they're all, you know, pretty unique, interesting to look at. something like 1,700, I think, unique varieties in those 3,800 images. So that's kind of fun. Let me go back and show you. Now, I'm not sure what one would do with this local copy of stuff, but I did take those thumbnails, which are nice small files, and make a few collages with them. So just in a few minutes, since I have everything here, I was able to select out all of the New York images. So once you have all those New York thumbnails, it's fairly easy to put them together in a collage, and then you can get something like that. So those are all the New York apples. Similarly, I took all the Jonathans, and you can, oops, JPEG, and here's all the Jonathans into a collage. So that's kind of fun. I'm not sure what else you can do with it, but now that I've got it locally, I can at least play with it. So anyway, if you're interested in this spreadsheet, let me know. Where did that other sheet go? There we go. I've got this in open office format. I also have a version that works in numbers on the Mac, and I'm pretty sure the ODS file from OpenOffice can be read by any reasonable version of Excel. So if you're interested in the spreadsheet, let me know, and I'd be happy to hear any other comments. Thanks a lot.